Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Newman, and today we're going to be unboxing Blood Hunter from SawTooth Toys. This 1/12 scale figure measures 6.5 inches in height, is made of plastic, fabric, and metal, sports multiple points of articulation, and comes with several accessories. Now before we get to the unboxing, it would greatly be appreciated if you were to like this video, if you do indeed like it, and subscribe. That way you'll never miss a future unboxing. So I've been looking for a Blade figure for a while. I wasn't 100% on board with the Mezco figure, and the newest Blade figure coming out from Marvel Legends based off of the Wolverine and Deadpool movie isn't quite my cup of tea. So lo and behold, the internet being the internet trying to sell me stuff, I saw an ad for this figure on social media. So I decided to give it a click, which brought me to Toku Collectibles and this not Blade figure from SawTooth Toys. Now I've never bought an unlicensed figure before, but the price seemed okay, so I figured, hey, why not? Let's give it a go. The box that it comes with is as minimalist as it comes. So we're not going to waste too much time discussing, well, nothing. So let's go ahead and get this thing opened up. Alright, now that we have the figure in hand, overall, I think this looks pretty good. Now his jacket is kind of like a velour almost. It's not made to look like pleather or leather, so yeah, that's kind of nice. It's a nice little difference from what I would normally expect. We'll go over the aesthetics later. First, we're going to go over this articulation. So the head is on a ball joint. There's a pretty good range of movement on here. It feels like his neck is also jointed as well. Arms go to about yay high, which is pretty good considering that jacket. We have a twist in the bicep, which is decent. We've got butterfly joints, which are nice as well. We have double joints in the elbows, which are fantastic. There is supposed to be an ab crunch in here, but it's hindered by this vest. The legs go up to about yay high, which is, I mean, it's decent considering the pants kind of hinder it. There's a twist in the upper thigh. The legs are double jointed at the knees, which are fantastic. There's also a little bit of a twist in the upper calf as well. And the articulation in the ankles is very, very good. So yay for that. Yeah, so the articulation in this guy is pretty good considering all of the soft goods kind of hindering certain movements. So he's got some good movements even with all of these soft goods in that vest restricting them. So let's go ahead and move on to the accessories next. So first up, we have another head sculpt. Now, I don't know why this head sculpt wasn't on the figure initially, because this seems like it would be the default head sculpt. Either way, this head sculpt is amazing. It's a really good likeness of Wesley Snipes. I love the tattoos on the back of his head. Haircut looks good. If I did have an issue is that in certain lighting conditions, his hair looks gray as opposed to black. That's kind of a combination with a lot of characters with black hair. Here are his sunglasses, which are very small. They seem pretty fragile, so I would be very careful with it if you do decide to get this or if you already have it. Let's see how they look on this head sculpt. I don't believe there's any magnets or anything like that. It's just sculpt on sculpt. Oh man, this looks fantastic. This looks really good. Like, whoa, bravo SawTooth. I didn't think the first head sculpt looked 100% like Wesley Snipes, but this one really does, especially with the glasses on. Here is a shotgun, which is actually die-cast metal. I didn't realize this toy was going to have die-cast metal accessories, but it's pretty sturdy. There seems to be some paint application on here. It's minimal, but it's enough to make it look good and pretty realistic as well. Figure also comes with Blade's glaive, which is also metal and also extends and is actually pretty sharp. This is pretty amazing actually. This is nice. This is really good. And yeah, it extends fairly well. There's a little bit of airbrushing on it to give it more of a weathered look. This looks fantastic. Here's his gun. It's a gun. It's plastic. It's not metal. There's silver paint application. It looks okay. There's also this metal weapon as well. I'm honestly not familiar with this. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's kind of like a stake, but not really. So don't kill me in the comments. But if somebody knows, please let me know. And here we have his famous guardless sword. It comes already in its sheath. The sword is metal. The sheath is plastic. Sculpt is good. There's variation in the color. I mean, I'm not quite sure this is a paint application. Forgive me. I guess this would be acid washing maybe. Either way, it looks very good. It only comes as a standard version. There's no booby trap version with the exploding knives coming out of the handle. This figure also comes with a bunch of extra hands. Here are a pair of fists. They're a little too glossy for my liking. I wish they were more of a satin. We have a pair of trigger hands, one for the right, one for the left. And we also have some just regular gripping hands for the sword and that bladed weapon. And here's the base. So it looks like everything's inside of the base. That's a nice efficient use of packaging space, so it's much appreciated. And look, make sure you have some fingernails to get this thing open, of course. So here's the extended arm inside, so we can just go ahead and get this put together. I'm not going to put this peg all the way down deep, but it is an extremely tight fit. Just in case I don't want to end up using the space, I can easily take it back off. And it does seem a little flimsy, so we'll find out later on in this review if it can actually support the figure. The figure actually isn't that heavy to begin with, so I wouldn't be surprised if it does in fact support it fairly well. And speaking of that figure, let's go ahead and get the stuff out of the way and bring Blade back for a little bit of a deep dive. So again, this is not officially Blade, this is officially Blood Hunter. And in that regard, this isn't a 100% representation of a costume from any of the Blade films. It mostly just takes inspiration from them. So now, FYI, there is a wire in his jacket, and you know, hey, that's pretty good. It's fairly substantial. It holds up so you can get the windswept look. And again, this jacket, and the pants, the jacket and the pants, it seems to be the same material. It's kind of a velour. So it makes it a little more regal. I think that kind of works with the red interior, so you have kind of a Dracula look going on. Now, I'm not the best poser of figures, but this figure poses pretty well. I like it. Oh yeah, look at that. That looks pretty cool. Look at that. That looks fairly lifelike. Not bad, not bad. And even though he's wearing a whole bunch of soft goods, they don't really hinder the movement too much. All of the movements are pretty smooth. They stay in position fairly well. The ab crunch is probably going to bother quite a bit of people. And you could have had a segmented vest so that you could have gotten an ab crunch, but I don't think this figure really needs it. And no one in real life can really do an ab crunch wearing a bulletproof vest. So it wouldn't really make sense from my point of view. Not every figure needs to be Spider-Man or Daredevil. The face sculpt is good, but I don't think it 100% looks like Wesley Snipes. It almost looks like a combination of Wesley Snipes and Mahershala Ali. That, I don't know if that was intentional, or maybe it's just my mind wanting to see that combination of the two actors. So it looks like these rings or these holsters on his thighs are actually removable. So you're going to have to really get them on there closer up to the thigh in order for them to stay. I would have liked them permanently attached, to be perfectly honest. I hated it on the Mondo Cyclops figure, and I don't care for it here either. Let's go ahead and get this jacket off, see what's underneath. And it looks like he has a black skin-tight suit underneath of it. I think it looks a little bit awkward with these butterfly joints. There's a good range of movement, but sometimes it looks a little weird. I think I'm going to definitely keep that jacket on. I mean, it's not bad with the jacket off, but it just looks, I don't know, I'm not 100% feeling it. Maybe 80%. Maybe 80% feeling it. But again, there's a really good range of movement on these arms. So it looks like we are going to be able to get like a two-handed grip on the sword if we want to go ahead and do that. So, you know, that's not bad. The texture is very nice. Let's see if we can get the sheath on here. See, I don't think this is very secure either. It's not a great fit, but I am very hesitant to glue it on there because then you won't be able to get the jacket on and off. So I think I would have preferred maybe a more basic peg for that. It's not bad, but it's not very good. There is a little bit of fraying on the stitching of his pants near the like the zipper portion, but it ain't too bad. Let's see how well this holster is for his gun. You know what? Okay, yeah, that looks good. That looks pretty good. Not too bad. The holster on his other leg has some silver stakes, which they're all stationary, so you can't take them out, which I actually prefer because they would be very small. I would lose those things. I think they would be better for a Hot Toy or a 1/6 scale figure. But there is a holster for his glaive, but you do have to fold it up in order to get it in there, and it sticks out just a little bit. I'm sure you could get it in there more, but I don't want to force it and accidentally break it off. Either way, it's very secure in there. I don't see any spots for this other weapon, but a holster for 3 out of 4 weapons ain't bad. It's actually very good. Less things you have to store when you display your figure. The balance on this guy seems pretty good as well. He stands up very well. You don't have to do a lot of manipulation with the ankles and the legs in order to get him standing fairly securely. One of my big tests is to just leave him standing on my desk overnight in the middle of these reviews just to see if he topples over. And he passed that test. He didn't topple over overnight. And we're going to see if we can get him into a running position on just one leg, and with just a little bit of manipulation. There we go. Okay, so pass that test too. So the ankles, the whole balance of this figure seem pretty good. Now, in keeping with the films, there's actually a hole inside of his jacket so that you can place the sword in the sheath through it. It doesn't go on the outside of the jacket in the films. It's usually on the inside, so you can do the same thing here. Hopefully that'll actually help it secure it on its back a little bit better, because again, I'm not big on the peg as it is right now. Next up, we're going to go ahead and test out the swappability of his heads and hands, and the head pops off fairly easily. All right, and this other head, it goes on fairly easily as, oh, look at that. All right, so that's some good range of movement in the neck. Again, this is my preferred head sculpt. I think this looks a lot like Wesley Snipes. I think it's really good. The overall detail in the head sculpt is quite amazing. It's rare to get that good of a head sculpt in 1/12 scale figures. I generally shy away from figures that are based on live action because they typically don't look very good, but this one does. There's even a little glint in the eyes to give it a lifelike effect. The swap out of the hands is a little bit more difficult than the head. It's you're gonna have to put some pressure on the hands to get them secure. Once you get them on there, they're fairly secure. It is a little bit difficult though. The grip on the sword is pretty secure, so you shouldn't have to worry about it falling out, hopefully. And it's a pretty good scale to the figure. Also, like I said before, you should be able to get it in a double grip if you want. Also, the smaller bladed weapon is also a secure fit. The grip of it is actually similar to a nail filer, so I'm not surprised that it's so secure. Now, I'm not going to actually swap out the hands on screen, but the trigger finger hand grips the gun pretty well, and it's pretty secure, so that's a plus. However, it's a little more difficult with the shotgun. Sorry, I don't have it filmed, but getting the trigger finger into the shotgun is a little more difficult. The trigger is a little farther off, so you have to stretch out the trigger finger a little bit. But luckily, the plastic of the hands is malleable enough that you can stretch it. Taking a look at the interior of the coat. The interior of the coat is more of a satin finish as opposed to the velour of the outside. It's I don't know if I like the stitching where the arms are, but that's a real nitpick right there. I think that was a great addition for Blade 2 that Guillermo del Toro decided to have that interior be red. I believe he said something along the lines of he wanted a primal feeling for Blade, and I think it's a great look. Now, one other thing I did want to round back to was getting this sheath and sword in and behind his coat. See if I can get that pressed in there. See if we can get a good connection. And, you know, I think the coat's going to help with that connection. Hopefully it doesn't just slide out whenever I have this guy on my shelf. But I guess time will tell. So, you know, overall, I think besides a few nitpicks here and there, and that ab crunch is probably going to bother a lot of people. It doesn't bother me, because it is supposed to be a bulletproof vest. I think this figure is pretty nice. I think it's actually rather fantastic. I do kind of worry that maybe those butterfly joints are going to break on me at some point. They don't seem loose, but they seem delicate. But I'm usually not too heavy-handed with my figures, despite these fat fingers. So hopefully this guy holds up, because I think this is fantastic. I think this is one of the best Blade figures that's out on the market right now. Again, I think the Mezco one kind of looked like a cosplayer. And I'm not feeling the Marvel Legends one. But this, if you're able to get a hold of it, I think this is rather fantastic. Now, before we wrap up, let's actually do a couple of comparisons so you can get a sense of scale for this guy. So here we have the Marvel Legends Luke Cage next to him, and the Marvel Legends Man Without Fear Daredevil, and they scale fairly well. The Blade body proportions, they're a lot more realistic as opposed to the Marvel Legends, which are they're not cartoony, but they lean more towards a comic aesthetic that's a bit more exaggerated. That being said, I still think that this figure can work with your Marvel Legends. And just two more figures. Here's the Marvel Legends Punisher and the Sentinel Peter B. Parker Spider-Man. I figured these two were fitting because the first time I ever saw Blade was in an episode of Spider-Man the Animated Series during the Mutagenic Saga, which also featured the Punisher. And it looks like that new Spider-Man movie might be going down that same route. So maybe, who knows, we might actually see Mahershala Ali as Blade, but I doubt it. And also, one last thing, I completely forgot. I said I was going to test out the stand for you guys, so let's see if this is able to support the figure. I kind of hate it when there's sheaves on the back of these figures, like with Deadpool. It makes it hard to get the stands on these figures sometimes. But there you go, it supports it. It supports it. Who knows how long it's going to stay on this thing, though. But hey, it supports it right now. Okay, final thoughts. So overall, I really like this figure. I think it's fantastic. I know nothing of SawTooth Toys, so if this is actually not a great company, they could have fooled me because I really like this toy. I think it's quality. And it was a really good price too. I got it for $60. However, it is sold out now, and the aftermarket is charging upwards of $100 plus. So while the pre-order was a good price, right now it's essentially just a mezco price now, which is super unfortunate if you didn't get this within the time frame. So I guess this is one of those rare instances where an ad actually helps somebody out, because I have heard nothing about this figure until it popped up as an ad. This is not an endorsement for social media ads, or even capitalism for that matter. I just got lucky on this one. I think this figure has really good articulation. I think the sculpt is really good. Paint application is really good. The accessories are really nice. They're very sturdy. They don't feel cheap. Cloth goods are good as well. I had a few issues here and there, which I'm not going to reiterate. So if you just skip to the final thoughts, joke's on you. You still gotta watch the whole video. So alright folks, I think that's gonna wrap everything up. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Hit that bell for notifications, and I will check you later.